Hey everybody, I'm John Granado. That's Lance Zerline. You can hear us mornings on ESPN 97.5 and 92.5. Welcome to Sports Map Texans. If you've never been here before, if you have, you know what we're doing. All of our Texans talk is right here. Hit subscribe so you get all of our content here on YouTube. Lance, early rookie report card. I think this is pretty easy. Stroud versus Richardson versus Young.
Well, it's C.J. Stroud. Richardson can't finish a game, and Bryce Young, although Bryce did, he kept battling. I watched him throw a late touchdown. They were all excited about that. But he's thrown some interceptions, but it's C.J. Stroud. Stroud's taking care of the ball. He's staying healthy. He's been fairly consistent. Right now, C.J. Stroud looks like the guy that every team would love to have, honestly. And I know the Colts would have considered him. I know that Carolina, I think they were in for Bryce Young. They had their opportunity. But this may be one where I think a lot of us were really hoping that they would end up with Bryce Young. This may be one where that missed interception by the Colts turns into one of the more favorable things to happen to the Texans in a long time. At first, it looked like it was really bad news for the Texans. But right now, C.J. Stroud, it's hard to pick at his game and find things that you're really, you can find things to improve on, but he's a rookie. It's to be expected. What things are you really concerned about? Do you have a concern? I don't really have a concern about C.J.
I have no concerns, none whatsoever. Okay, Stroud versus Achane versus Puka Nacua.
Yeah, for Rookie of the Year.
Yep.
I think the injury to Achane is going to really hurt him, although he's been terrific. I mean, the amount of touchdowns, the yards per rush were over 10.
In limited attempts. I mean, he might have been the front runner, to be honest with you. Nakua's still had a good game despite Cooper Kupp coming back, but I think Nakua's numbers are going to fade off. So to me right now, C.J. Stroud is the guy that is moving forward as your favorite. If there's a good chance that Achane's going to miss multiple games, as long as C.J. Stroud stays healthy, I think he is on pace to be your Rookie of the Year. Okay, let's go defensive side of the ball. Will Anderson versus Jalen Carter versus Devon Witherspoon.
Yeah, I think it's Jalen Carter, man. I watched some tape on him yesterday. His ability to win with power or quickness off the snap, he's having a big impact. He's got 4 sacks already to start the season in 5 games, and it's on a team that they're going to win a lot of games. I think Will Anderson has his moments, but he's got to get the quarterback more. Obviously, he's doing a good job against the run. And Witherspoon is going to be hit or miss. I mean, he's going to end up with some interceptions and some big plays, some pick sixes potentially, but he's going to give up some big plays too. That's the nature of how he plays. So I like Jalen Carter in that one.
Yeah, Jalen Carter is in a bigger market. He's going to get a lot more love from the media, that's for sure. And he's got better guys around him. If Jalen Carter was here with the Texans without Will Anderson on that end, I'm not sure that he would be that guy because he'd get a lot more attention. With the Philadelphia defensive front, how are you going to put all that attention on Jalen Carter when they got all those guys up there? So it is really, really a big advantage, I think, for Jalen Carter. And Will Anderson really needs to start to – he's doing a really nice job against the run, but there was no pressure at all on Desmond Ridder. He's got to – I don't know, did they have to unleash him more, or does he have to concentrate more on being a little bit more selfish in rushing the passer as opposed to worrying about the run?
Well, I don't think it's selfish. I mean, the only way it's selfish is if he voids his rush lane and takes a lot of moves inside and keeps losing contain. Getting the quarterback, and he's got to do a better job of it. And I don't know if that's a great question for DeMeco Ryans. What can you do to get him going? Is there something that I don't know the answer to that. Is it something that he needs to be doing, Will Anderson, he being Will Anderson, or is it something that DeMeco as a play caller can do to really free up Will Anderson? I know this. You gave up a lot for Will Anderson. You really, and I think it's going to really pay dividends against the run with leadership and all that. But you do want that pass rush to start getting cranked up at some point really soon.
Yeah. I mean, Jadeveon Clowney's a nice player, but, he really good against the run, but you need a pass rusher. You need that guy to get to the quarterback. Maybe you just say, hey, don't worry about any lanes. If you find whatever move that you can beat that tackle with and go with it, as opposed to having, worrying about your responsibility and contain and all that stuff. We'll worry about that. You get to the quarterback.
Yeah, rushing the quarterback's got to be the most important thing right now. I know stopping the run is the first priority, but I think now finding ways to pressure the pocket after that Atlanta game has to become a priority for DeMeco Ryans. Of course, it's a priority every game you go in, but he may have to scheme it up. If you're not getting natural pressure from all the players that you need, I mean, Grenard has done some things, but if you need to scheme the pressure, if you need to start bringing exotics and things like that, which DeMeco does do that from time to time, then let's do that, because getting that, creating some havoc in the backfield's a really big need for the Texans.
And they had a young quarterback. I mean, Desmond Ridder, and they had no pressure on him. And look what he did. He had his career game against them. And when you're not facing any pressure, heck, I mean, you gotta get that pressure on them, especially with a veteran quarterback that you're facing this week in Carr.
Yeah, and I think the one thing to keep in mind is when you look at the schedule's not full of Tier 1 quarterbacks. So it's full of some quarterbacks that you got a chance to make some hay against. That's why figuring out how to do it now, finding ways to generate pressure, and then getting these pass rushers like Will Anderson comfortable enough. Maybe you want to start changing up some of your, personnel groups with your pass rush. You want to start sliding guys inside, or, bringing certain types of blitzes. But this gives you, if you can really get after the quarterback, it's going to make your secondary it's going to make life in the secondary so much easier. And with this division, John, this is a really open division right now. Rushing a quarterback now really gives you a chance to actually be in that mix by week 12, where you're still saying, hey, there's still a shot.